Hello, and welcome to October's Energy Update. My name is Anna, and I'm a formally trained psychic. And every month, I take a peek into the collective energies and share with you the insights that I receive. So, just to give you a few of the themes for October, there's this very active and dynamic energy that I sensed, bringing in themes of reclaiming playfulness and simplicity from childhood, balancing big emotions with logic, and centering ourselves in our core of love, of self love, when challenged by others. So, one of the reasons why I love these energy updates so much is because they remind us of our interconnectedness and of the fact that we're not alone on this path. All right, let's dive straight into the energies. As I go with you through the themes and the insights that I received, I'm also going to share with you some of the images, symbols, or colors because they may have a symbolic meaning to you and what you're experiencing. Okay, so let's begin with theme number one. Theme number one really brought me into childhood. And it was all about reclaiming and bringing something from that time into our present moment. And what this really does is that it's going to allow us to open up to life and really see the opportunities again, see the beauty of life. So let me share with you some of the images that I got in colors. Overall, this theme was a light blue color. Usually light blue for me brings me back to childhood or to someone's true self. Sometimes it carries different meanings, but now it was about childhood. And the images that I saw were quite funny actually. The first image that I saw was someone kind of like doing something with their hands, like either like a puzzle or playing with clay, or it's funny because I actually went to a pottery class over the weekend, and it reminded me of when I used to play with I forgot what it's called, the thing that kids do and build stuff with. So this was the first image that I received. And then I received another one that showed me this little kid that was in a toy car, and I saw you, or us as a collective, the one that was behind the car pushing the friend in the toy car, and it was just like just running around pushing them around, and it was just so fun and playful. And again, this is about reclaiming our playfulness from our childhood. Everything was a game. Whenever we had a day off, like let's say we're in kindergarten but it was the weekend or something, or whenever we came back home from kindergarten or school, it was just playtime all the time. And we always found something to do. I remember when I was younger, I would spend my summers in the mountains. I'd go there. My parents would leave me there for a month or two, and I would play with the local kids, and we would gather up in the morning trying to figure out what to do because we didn't have really anything planned, but we would always come up with these games, like imagine we are some characters from a cartoon that we loved watching, and we would just go around the fields doing all sorts of things, like pretending we're looking for someone, and it was just so fun and playful. And in time, of course, we are told to take things seriously, stop playing around, just take things seriously. And then we start to take things seriously. We start to lose our sense of playfulness. And what happens when you take things seriously is that you grow very attached to things, to outcomes. And when you grow very attached, everything becomes hard and serious and not fun. So, kind of balancing a bit of that, bringing in some more playfulness, I think will allow us to detach a little bit from outcomes. And as you know, that's when everything starts to flow and to work out. And after these images, what I saw actually was a street, a road, and it seemed like you pushing around your friend in this toy car all of a sudden became you now, in this convertible car, and you're in this car listening to music and your hair was just kind of like in the wind, blowing in the wind. And um, what I got from this image of you being in this convertible driving this car was like that this is you in the present moment. So the idea is to bring in this playfulness from childhood into now, into what you're doing now. And when you do, life will start to feel like you are in a convertible somewhere in south of France or Italy, listening to some old Italian music and with the wind going through your hair. Life will start to feel that way. You will start to open up to life. And one other thing that we should reclaim from our childhood was not just playfulness, but also the simplicity of childhood. There was a simplicity there that we have lost. Now we make everything complicated. Everything is hard. I can't do this. It's complicated. It's so complicated all the time. So also bringing this sense of simplicity, because things are actually in reality much more simple than we make them to be. So playfulness and simplicity. And that's when life starts to open up. That's when we start to open up to life, and life starts to shower us with love. And so this is the first theme. Theme number 2 is about centering yourself in your core of self-love when being challenged by others. So the main color that I saw was a soft light pink, which is usually the color that I see whenever self-love is coming up as an energy. And then the image that I got, it was an image, but it was more of a feeling of what's going on. It was you in this little bubble of self-love, and it just felt like something's like trying to pull you out. And it was like this reminder that no matter what is trying to pull you out, you should always center yourself in this core of self-love, because what I saw was that you have been nurturing this strong feeling of love inside of you. You really do love yourself. You really have done the work, and it's there, it's visible. So congratulations. And let me tell you a story, because funny thing, I'm filming this part of the video a day later because something happened. And I think it is somehow related to this theme of being centered in self-love. So as I was filming this part of the video yesterday, I had a feeling like things just weren't really flowing. And I felt like someone was in my energy field. I felt like something's going on. So I was like, let me check my phone, because I usually put my phone on do not disturb when I film this. I'm like, let me check my phone. And I saw my girlfriend, my partner, texting me saying she's feeling very sick, very ill, like vomiting in the bathroom. She was at work, and she said she thinks she got food poisoning. So I'm like, oh my God, like, let me know how you're feeling. I'll come over if you want, if you need me to. And just a few more minutes passed. I tried filming. Of course, I was very worried, like it wasn't working. And she said, like, you should come because I'm feeling really unwell. So I'm like, okay. And I go there, and we go to the emergency room because she just wouldn't stop vomiting. And so we go, and I live in London, and we go, and I hear stories about how bad the healthcare system is. And part of me is like, doesn't believe it. Like, it's London, it's a Western country, it's evolved, it's developed. I'm sure it's not that bad. People are probably just spoiled, And we go there, and it was the most dehumanizing experience. And what was absolutely shocking and crazy to me was how used to it everyone was, and how everyone just seemed to act like it's so normal. And there was me there just feeling absolutely like it just felt inhumane, the treatment that you got from the assistants, the people working there. And I feel bad for them. Like, they're probably extremely overworked, very understaffed, but it was insane. And the fact that they were like, telling me, oh, this is actually normal, like this very long wait time while she was puking and things were coming out all the different places. Sorry, I hope she won't kill me for putting this in the video. Like she was really like about to pass out, and I even told them like what I was like, what would it take for you to actually give her attention? They were like, for her to stop breathing. I'm like, oh my god. And I but anyway, the craziest part to me was how normal this seemed. And I sort of got like, there were parts of me thinking like, maybe I should accept this. It's just the way that things are, you know? But I have really nourished, created this strong sense of love inside of me. And I know what I deserve and what I don't. And to see someone that I love go through that and to be treated like that, I just could never accept it. I just couldn't. Like, so now I'm thinking like, am I moving out of the country? I was thinking of this anyway, or what can I do about it? Because there's no way that I'm accepting this. So when people or circumstances happen, when things happen, you have to think to yourself like, is this something that resonates with this core of self-love, or is it not? I know what I described is probably like a very extreme, but it could happen in other ways. You know, for example, it could happen that someone says something about you behind your back, and it gets around back to you, and you know, maybe it's something about the way you live your life or your life choices, and you know, you may start to wonder, maybe they're right. And you know, sometimes feedback and things that people say are useful, of course. Like, we don't live in a void. We should listen to what others have to say. But always consider, like, does this resonate with my core of self-love? Are my choices, do they resonate? My career choices, my choice of partners or friends, do these things resonate with this core of self-love? Don't go out of your core of self-love just to kind of fit in with the norm, because the norm may be absolutely batshit crazy. Yesterday I was the one that felt like the crazy one, just for not being able to accept. But yeah, so whenever you get challenged, don't step out of your core of self-love, because you have worked on it hard, you have nurtured it, you know it's there. So stay strong in your core of self-love. And when I saw this energy come up for the month of October, I decided to create a workshop that is called The Courage to Love Yourself. It's gonna be online over Zoom on the 11th of October at 4 p.m. GMT. So if you're interested in this workshop, I'd love to get together with a bunch of you and just really harness this feeling of self-love together and to center ourselves in it. So if you want to find out more about it, you can find the link in the description box below. Theme number 3. This is an important one. It's about balancing big emotions with clear logic without suppressing anything. So that's the key part, without suppressing. So I think, you know, whenever we think of emotions and logic, a lot of us just kind of have this idea that, you know, logic suppresses emotions, but that doesn't have to be the case. So this is what this is about. And let me share with you the colors and images that I saw. So the color that I saw was green. This is usually a color that comes up for me whenever we're learning something new or whenever we're going through a soul growth period. And the images that I saw were, I saw this person with like these very cool intellectual looking glasses with a pen in their hand in a setting with lots of books, like a library or something. And this to me just represented logic. And then I saw someone standing upright with their hands like this on their hips and looking very proudly. they were standing on, guess what? On their emotions. They were sitting on this ground, and under this ground, underneath, were all the suppressed emotions. So this just represents, well, suppressed emotions. And then what I saw, the third image, was these emotions kind of slowly coming up and getting close to the point where you could actually feel them, but also understand them logically. So let me explain now what this means for us. So I'm going to share some stories just to kind of show what this means again. So for I am quite a passionate person. I have big emotions, right? But I'm also a passionate suppressor, or at least I used to be. I inherited, like we all do, patterns of suppressing emotions. And I became so good at it to the point where I think I had created so much tension in my body because it requires a lot of tension, to keep emotions in, a lot of tightness, and the body becomes very rigid. And to the point where I started to have panic attacks, because I think my nervous system just got to a point where it was like, hey, like, okay, you're suppressing, but every now and then you need to express some of it. So that was the panic attack. It was kind of like a volcano erupting. And I also started somatizing. I started to have all these like physical symptoms, which happens when we suppress emotions. And so over the past couple of years, I've learned through body work how to allow emotions to come up. So yesterday, while I was in the hospital with my partner, by the way, she's doing much better. She is better and feeling better today. So while I was there, I had these really huge emotions come up. And I was noticing I was becoming very tight. And then all of a sudden, I started to get some chest pain. And I'm like, okay, I really need to go out and take some fresh air and feel some of this. So I went outside and I started to cry. I started to really just allow my nervous system to regulate itself. And I also felt like stretching. By the way, I watch my dog whenever she's overwhelmed or anxious, and she does all these things like she shakes, she stretches, she yawns. It's so interesting how our body just naturally knows what to do with these emotions if we let it. So I started to do all these things, and it was just such a healthy response. And around me, I saw all these people just being so like statues. And I also started to think to myself, like, maybe I'm being a little weird. Like, people are looking at me and judging me. But then I'm like, you know what? Like, I really don't care. Like, this is a natural response. It's normal. Like, I'm not hurting anyone. I'm not like creating a scene. I'm just doing me, like regulating my nervous system. And so I think what the message really here is to allow yourself to feel emotions. Allow yourself to be what's the word? A maverick, an innovator. Allow yourself to be that person that sets an example for others of what is a healthy response to emotions. To feel. Allow your feelings, just like I saw in that image, to come up and feel them. So now let's talk about the clear logic part. Over the weekend, I became aware of some things that have been bothering me for a long time. And I'm like, you know what? I really want to get to the bottom of this and understand. So I went on a really long walk. Walks are usually how I process sometimes emotions or things. And on this walk, I actually felt like sitting down somewhere. So I found this place in like among trees, and I felt safe there. And I was with my dog, and I'm like, there's this thing that's been bothering me. And of course, this thing, there are people involved, right? And people play different roles. And I'm like, what if I take away the drama of it, right? Like the people involved, just take everything, strip that away and simply be left with the essence, right? So when it comes to this logic, to using logic, you can almost like become like a researcher where you do what I did. Like you sit down with what you feel and you allow emotions to come up from down under. You feel them. I cried a little bit in the park, and and I simply just let them be. And it's like as soon as I let my emotions be and I didn't just hide them, it just became so easy to understand what is going on. I started to use logic, after stripping away, because we project a lot, right, on people and stuff. I'm like, okay, so this is the thing that I need. This is, it all became very logical. And I finally understood what I couldn't understand for years. I swear this thing has been bothering me for years. And I finally understood. So, really, the thing to take from theme number 3 is, can you let emotions exist and let logic assist? So, instead of using logic to suppress emotions, which is what we have learned, which is the pattern, create a new paradigm where we let emotions exist and instead we use logic to help us understand. And in this way, we really become more integrated and more whole. And if any of this speaks to you, I offer psychic readings which help in getting to know yourself, to understand yourself, to see the patterns that are in your energy field, and to really help you also shift those. So it's not just about reading. I also work with a healing master and spirit guides in order to shift energy and information that create change and real life effects. So a lot of people think that, psychic readings are all about knowing the future, but that is not what I like to focus on in my psychic readings. I like to help people with their spiritual growth. So if that interests you, you can find out more about it in the link in the description box below. Theme number 4 is about reconciliation with family and your roots. So the color that I saw for this one was a red burgundy color. And usually whenever I see this color, it is related to family. But of course, sometimes it can be something else. Sometimes it's passion or other things. And I think this color came up last month as well, but this month it has a different angle to it. So, and also it kind of builds on the other themes that we talked about 2 and 3, about centering and self-love and balancing big emotions with clear logic without suppressing. So what I saw here was that you will find inner peace within yourself. You will have more of a whole feeling, integrated feeling as a person. And I actually saw something else that popped up as a theme, but I just thought it was too little to talk about it as its own, so I'm just gonna put it in here. And it's all about really blossoming and really becoming this person, breaking patterns and really being much more connected to your light, to your true self. And this is what I saw. And I think as a result of this, you are able to find a peace inside, and you're going to feel a pull to reconcile with your family perhaps, or your roots. And this could manifest as, perhaps actually reaching out to people that you've had arguments with, to your family. Maybe you're estranged from your family, and actually reach out to them and talk to them. Or maybe it's about simply an inner journey where you accept the things that have happened to you, where you accept the family that you come from. And it's not just about accepting, but really actually embracing that and acknowledging the value that it brought to you on this journey in this life. And this is what I want to say, especially when it comes to actually reconciling with family members. Because, all of us, we just want to be understood. and accepted and embraced, all of us, whether you are a grandparent, a parent, or a child who simply wants to be accepted by their parent, right? All of us want that. All of us want to be met where we are. But it is so rare that we actually meet others where they are. So, what I see here is that because you have created the sense of peace inside and are happy with yourself, you can meet someone. You can meet your estranged father, let's say, where he is. You can finally sit down with him and offer your presence and embrace him as a human being. And this doesn't mean you have to accept. Like, let's say that you have very strong liberal views and your parents have very strong conservative views and you fought over this. And I'm not saying that you have to change or to change your values or to change yourself and accept what they believe. No, absolutely not. What I'm saying is to simply accept that perhaps they will never change their ways, to simply accept that. And there is so much power in this. It's similar to how whenever we have a very heavy emotion, the first instinct, for me at least, is to want to change it. No matter what, I have to change it. I can't accept this. And it's in the same way. Once you actually accept the emotion, embrace it, it starts to lose all its power over you. And somehow it changes as soon as you embrace it. And in the same way, I think when dealing with family, once we can actually meet them, just like we meet an emotion, and sit with them and see them and just see them for who they really are, they start to lose that pull over you, that triggering ability. And there is this sense of no longer it being a battle. So this is what it's about. It's about being able to meet someone without any expectations of change, of things changing. Just being able to meet a situation as it is without wanting to change it. And this brings so much peace and healing. It's astounding. So if you feel the pull to either actually reach out to someone or simply soften and change the way that you hold someone in your heart, I highly recommend that you trust your intuition. Now let's go to the tarot card section. So I pulled 2 cards. This is the first one, Ace of Swords. So what this card means is that you have an opportunity. It's a new beginning to use logic differently than you used to. So it's exactly what we talked about in theme number 3. So you have an opportunity to start to use logic to your advantage. So instead of using it to suppress, you can start to use it and make it your best friend. And then the next card that I pulled, 4 of Cups. Let's talk about this card now. Such a beautiful card as well. So this card is all about being present and opening up to what life has to offer you. So this is connected to that theme number 1 related to childhood. So when you are present, you can see all the opportunities and all the help and support that you're getting from the universe. You have so many spirit guides, so many angels that are looking out for you, that are offering you so many opportunities. It's simply about opening up to life and seeing all of it, allowing yourself to step out of your patterns, out of your, putting the lenses through which you see life, putting them aside and allowing yourself to see reality with presence. So when I look at these 2 cards together, the Ace of Swords and the Four of Cups, what I see is that you have a very strong intellect. And before, you use this intellect to suppress emotions. So you used it in a way that really wasn't advantageous to you. Or perhaps it was, but that was more of a survival mode way of living. And now that you have chosen to live a different kind of life, you can use this very strong, powerful intellect that you have to your advantage to create more of a balance between emotions and logic. And in this way, logic can actually really assist you and become your best friend. And also the best friend of your emotions rather than the enemy. And also the Four of Cups really is just, I really just see this new way of living where you are a different person and you are opening up to life and seeing all these opportunities. So I just really feel so much abundance in these cards and opportunity. It's beautiful. So altogether, the month of October brings a lot of movement. As I said, it's very active, very dynamic. So let's make it a fun month. And thank you for being here with me and offering your presence and your attention. And I hope to see you again soon in my next video.